And the first album out is Unisonic. First album these guys did. It's gonna be quite easy to find the right version since there's only one vinyl version. It's supposed to come with a CD. But no, wait, is there a... Alright, I didn't know there was a vinyl version without a CD. Well, it looks like there is a vinyl version without CD. That was quite easy. First one. I remember hearing the first single from this album. It was like, hell yeah! Michael Kiske is back in the style that we got to know him from in the beginning. The first single was Souls Alive, and it was written before Kai Hansen joined the band, so the idea was probably to make an album that would be like a mix between his other band, Place Vendome, and Halloween, because that's what it sounded like, a mix between those two bands. Let's see what we have next. Nazareth. I think finding the right version of old albums that sold a lot is like the most time-consuming thing on discogs, and it's this album here, Hair of the Dog. Quite funny actually, because it was supposed to be Hair of the Dog, like there we go. That's like the whole, it's a word play, because they're singing son of a bitch in the song. Son of a bitch, hair of the dog. And this one is from Phonogram, printed in Netherlands. That one is with this label, and that's not the one I have, apparently. This looks like it. Small thing on the corner there. Labels are the same. Alright. Add my version to the collection. Alright. This one actually, the sleeve looks water damaged, and the record sounds like shit when you play it. But the thing is, I actually have 2 copies of this album. This was my first copy. It plays good. It is not the same version. The labels look the same. Almost the same. It's the same same picture, but the placement of the text is different, and also the back is different. This is not the same as the one I had a second ago. This one does not have a place of manufacturing on the back cover art. The labels are basically so dark it's impossible to read. NCB. NCB. That's a clue that it was Scandinavian version. Hopefully this is the right version. Back cover art looks the same. Labels are the same. And it's got the inner sleeve. Well, I'm gonna assume this is the right version I found, because it was the only Scandinavian version of the album I found. I add that to my collection. Yes. Ivory Tiger. That's some awesome US metal. And since it's a reissue, it shouldn't be too hard to find. Ivory Tiger. It's much easier to find. Oh, I already added that one to my collection. These limited versions are much easier to find than the old albums that are done in multiple pressings and sold like millions of copies. Next album is Jag Panzer, Scourge of the Light. Limited edition colored vinyl. That's gonna be a quick ad for me. 5 albums in my collection with Jag Panzer. Let's see. Scourge of the Light, already added to the collection. Well, it's not easy to remember. I just took a bunch of vinyl and said like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do today. Nazareth 2XS. I bought 3 Nazareth albums on a Swedish auction website, but I only needed that. That's why I have 2 copies of Hair of the Dog. This is not one of their most popular albums, so there's only a few vinyl versions to choose from. Manufactured and distributed by AM Records. Does not say what country it's from. All vinyl records have a almost invisible number written here between the music and the label, and it helps identifying also what album you have. This is a cutout, which probably means that this is from USA. And if I look, the American version is released on that label, both the Canadian and the US version. And I'm gonna take a guess and see that it's this one. This is not my version. There is a small letter here on the label that says C. On this one, mine says B. This one looks like the one. B on the label. So I found my version. More Nazareth. This one is from the 90s actually. And vinyl in the 90s wasn't that big. So this one's going to be easy to find. I already have the reissue, but I bought the original pressing because it actually looks better. The quality of the image on the sleeve is much better. And let's see. Okay, this wasn't a 90s album, it's from 1989. But it's still really hard to find actually the original pressing. Since there's only 3 vinyl versions, so I'll just open all of them. That's not my version. This looks like it. This doesn't look like it. So when there's not many versions, there's no point in looking at all the tiny details. There we go. It's actually one of my favorite albums by Nazareth. And the reissue actually have a few bonus tracks, like single B-sides and so on, that are like totally worth buying the reissue for. A friend actually gave me this album, Japanese metal. I hadn't heard him before. He just said, I don't like it, you can have it. It's gonna be quite easy to find it since it's like Japanese metal, probably only released in Japan. Sabbrabells artist album Sailing on the Revenge. one LP version only. Easy. First copies includes a big poster. Well, mine doesn't. Mine has this inner sleeve that you fold out like this, you know, but not this big poster. But it's the one. Tack David, mycket snällt. Den lät bra. This one